I just ran across an interesting article in the Washington Post. Looks like it was actually posted yesterday on their website, and you can check it out at your leisure. And it's titled as Trump Warms to Putin, U.S. Halts Offensive Cyber Operations Against Moscow. So basically, it looks like the article was written by Ellen Nakashima and Joseph Min of the Washington Post. And it states that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered U.S. Cyber Command to halt offensive cyber and information operations against Russia as President Trump seeks to end President Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine on terms that are widely seen as favoring Moscow. According to one current and one former U.S. official familiar with the order, the pause is meant to last only as long as negotiations continue, said the current and former official, who, like several others, spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the matter's sensitivity. While it's not unusual to stop operations in the midst of high-level talks or similar engagements, the move comes as Trump has engaged in a startling reversal of 80 years of U.S. foreign policy, showing an apparent willingness. Had a little interruption here. Showing an apparent willingness to abandon European allies and make common cause with Putin in his designs on Ukraine. And and experts warn it represents a concession to one of America's most active cyber adversaries. Russia continues to be among the top cyber threats to the United States, said James A. Lewis, a former diplomat in the Clinton administration and former UN cyber negotiator. Turning off cyber operations to avoid blowing up the talks may be a prudent tactical step, but if we take our foot off the gas pedal and they take advantage of it, we could put national security at risk. The Pentagon declined to comment on the matter. There is no greater priority to Secretary Hegseth than the safety of the war fighter in all operations, to include the cyber domain, a defense official said. The pause on the offensive cyber operations was first reported by The Record. The cyber and information operations being halted are not so aggressive as to be considered an act of war, the official said. They could include exposing or disabling malware found in Russian networks before it can be used against the United States, blocking Russian hackers from servers that they may be preparing to use for their own offensive operations, or disrupting a site promoting anti-U.S. propaganda. I have seen many times when we are in some type of negotiation with another nation, especially if it's one that is considered an adversary, that we stop operations, exercises, we even cancel speeches sometimes, said retired Lieutenant General Charlie Tuna Moore, former Deputy Commander of U.S. Cyber Command. It's fairly common to pause anything that could potentially derail the talks. Planning for potential operations against Russian networks has not stopped, said one former senior military official. Also continuing is cyber espionage against Russia conducted by the National Security Agency, the nation's electronic surveillance agency headquartered alongside Cybercom at Fort Meade, Maryland. The reason you don't stop espionage is you want to know if they're lying to you, said the former official. The reason you don't stop planning is if the talks don't work out, you want to have options you can use against them. The danger, though, is that even a temporary stop runs counter to U.S. defense strategy of maintaining persistent engagement with top cyber adversaries such as Russia. You need to see if there are vulnerabilities you can exploit. Whether you can get through their firewalls, whether you can get access to the targets, said former senior defense official. What's the risk of stopping? You lose track of your adversary. If the pause is for days or weeks, it's not so serious. If it's for months or permanent, that's serious, the former official says. And I'm going to stop there. But you can check that article out in the Washington Post, or you can Google it. It's pretty much everywhere. But I don't care if it's days, seconds, weeks, months. To me, to pause on the basis of Trump negotiating a ceasefire with Russia, especially when Zelensky already says he's not going along and he's not signing a deal. To me, the negotiating is at a halt right now. So, knowing Trump being Trump and him being Putin's puppet, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion, I'm not a political expert, but to do something like that just makes us more vulnerable than we already are. So, all I can say is brace yourself. The propaganda machine is going to be on steroids if they're not careful. I mean, literally, it's already happening. And there's word that they have Russian spies right here in the States. And I'm sure China has some operatives here as well. And the weakness of this nation is being put front and center for the rest of the world to see. They don't even have to use military aggression unless they absolutely feel it's necessary. I'm just speaking as far as the adversaries go. Especially when they can penetrate from within using all types of tactics through cyber. And we've seen many times before where sites within not just government agencies but major corporations have been broken into by conspirators overseas. And of course, none of them can be caught or prosecuted because they're not on American soil. And a lot of those foreign nations, especially those under communist regime, work together. I mean, they are working together to weaken and cripple this democracy. And when you have a pawn and a puppet occupying the most powerful position in the free world, if this shit's not nipped in the bud, we in big trouble. And for those of you who don't keep up with current events or things that are going on, even as far as how Trump is putting limits on, as far as the press, who he allows to come inside that White House to ask him questions, to pin him down. He doesn't want to be held accountable. You know how he gets down. But all I'm saying is, for those of you who don't care, you need to care. Because everything going on, it will impact us all if it's not properly dealt with. But it's already been happening. As I said in previous videos, this administration has been playing the long game. And it goes beyond just controlling the minds of the majority of Americans who went along with this shit show. It's all about all of these powerful entities jockeying for position, for their own preservation, and nothing more. It's all, in a nutshell, it all boils down to greed. So don't be one of those ones that doesn't pay attention to what's going on, because it will in some way impact us. And it'll allow you to be equipped to be prepared as far as what you need to do, because you don't never know what's down the pike. So stay focused, keep your eyes on a swivel, and trust nothing. Y'all be blessed.